It's about time again for Lake Bären. Carp fishing at Lake Bären always works, of course, but which flavors are running at the moment? Yes, ideally you test that with some nice small baits. And of course, I already did that. I tried around a little, and first I went in here completely fishy. Different fishy flavors, for example, mussel I tested, but also crab and tuna I tried. And yes, at the moment I ended up with tuna, because tuna delivered me the most fish right now. And I did not go for a special type of fish, I simply went by which bait attracts the most fish, just by the number, so that you have a proper frequency here. And yes, mainly on this bait combination, it's mostly common carp right now, which of course is not bad at all. Here we even have a mirror carp, almost 10 kilograms. That also fits. Yes, so far it already looks quite good. This here's the test net. Right now, of course, in the very first minutes of the test, we already see different fish coming in on always different bait combinations. But then it turned out that the tuna combination was the best. So I rebuilt all rods completely on tuna in combination, and I do not have 1 gram of ground bait in the water. That means the whole thing can be tested here completely without ground bait. Just cast the clip again. So here at this spot, 21M, over the grass edge, over the reeds, and you land exactly in the right area here. And yes, at the moment it looks good, and I must say, I'm already quite satisfied, because the fish that go in here, yeah, that's worth it already. That's not bad at all. Come closer here. Look, 10 kilos mirror carp. That is really good. So out with the setup. Like I said, 21 meter clip just cast loosely over here. So Zach cast it loosely and then you fall into the clip and then it fits. Then you are back there, let's say from here to here in this area. And exactly here, lying like a banana, is a mussel bank. So exactly in this area is the mussel bank. And that's where we want to cast with the fishy flavors. And obviously it seems to work right now, even without ground bait. So just test it. The nice and practical thing, of course, is the rig that I use, because this is a rig you unlock very early in the game. By the way, also a rig you should definitely skill, because the classic hair rig, you use it again and again. So absolutely essential and important for many fish species. Because here you use sinking boilies and sinking pellets. And yes, as you can see, the frequency is really good. And that, like I said, without ground bait. That fits, of course. Nevertheless, I already have a ground bait mix prepared, and we'll have a look at that in a moment. Or actually, I'm already thinking whether we might rebuild it a little bit, because we clearly have an indicator now that the aroma direction goes towards tuna. So this is how the setup looks right now. I am fishing quite heavy here with 36 kilograms. If you are fishing fine with a small setup, for example with a Fortuna carp and an HSV, then 19 kilograms is enough, maybe up to 23 kilogram setup. Your HSV reel doesn't break more anyway. That means with a 23 kiloliter and the matching line, you are already at the limit. You don't need to make it thicker. Size 1 hook is always really good for testing. Size 6, size 4, size 1 hooks, especially when you later use small pop-up corn for testing. Then you can even use smaller hooks to get a higher frequency and faster results. Tuna feed pellet, now here in use with tuna pepper soluble boilie. So again, a medium bait combination together with tuna oil. Yes, and that on all 3 rods, because it simply works really well here. And now we'll look into the ground bait mix, because I think slowly it's about time. There are also some small carp here and there, but considering that I don't even have any ground bait in yet, I must say it's already a very good result. Just in the last 15 minutes, 12 fish in that time. That really looks good. So let's look into the ground bait mix. That was my first idea, because I still had the combination of mussel and amino inside. Also a mix that delivered something. It wasn't bad, but tuna in the end was clearly better. What do we have here? We simply have some feed balls. You don't need PVA to be a successful carp angler, but you do need ground bait to be really successful for carp. And that works with feed balls, with the SPOM, or with PVA. At the spot where we are, we only need to cast 21 meters. That means we make some balls, Cast them fully loaded and land automatically around 20 meters, plus the effect radius of about 2 meters. So with a 21-meter line clip, we feed the spot perfectly. Now as we rebuild the ground bait mix, let's do it together. We take these components out, and also this one here. Now we search again for tuna. And I don't take tuna with salmon components, only pure tuna. Even the large feed pellets I use. The larger the particles in the ground bait, the bigger the fish can be. But the frequency goes down, so I add one component amino. That stays as it is. And then I add more tuna. And that's the classic tuna basic carp ground bait. I prepare it twice, so let's go on with it. Out with the tuna ground bait. And right away the next fish is on. Now we must look again. We want to cast exactly into that area. 21 meters is the clip, and I eat something quickly, so I have enough energy and my energy bar is full. Then we cast fully loaded as far as possible. That's around 20 members. And with the effect radius, we still land exactly in the area where our baits are. So now we cast about 10-15 times. That does not hurt. We put in a lot of food at the spot, and then we wait because the spot can change. Yes, we threw in plenty now, and now we let it work. The spot changes with ground bait. Some fish population goes up, others go down. In the worst case, we stop catching common carp. That would be bad, because right now I catch many common carp. If the ground bait lowers them, I will suddenly have fewer fish. But in the ideal case, the mirror carp population rises. Then we have more mirror carp. We must also keep an eye on time and weather. It's warm right now, and it's noon or afternoon. So in about 2-3 hours, the spot can become active again. And like I said, through ground bait it can take time until the spot changes. Look, it's 4 p.m., and the first fish is nibbling, and he already bit. Look, yes, that's how it can continue, and hopefully on all 3 rods. Now, of course, the question, will the fish slowly get bigger? Because in this size, I don't need them, and if even on small boilies they become bigger and the frequency stays good, then we can go to larger pellets like an 18mm pellet or a 20mm soluble boilie. That way, fewer small fish, but maybe a better chance for a trophy. Yes, it looks really good now. And that is how you work on a spot. First test baits, small and medium boilies, test, cast, check what works best, and then expand it. Now, if the ID here was influenced by the ground bait, that would be interesting. ID can always be triggered with P, and we also have P in the mix. We have fishy flavors in the mix. So it's possible the spot changed, and suddenly I catch ID. That is also not bad. So, onto the spot. Lake Bären always works. If you don't catch there, the angler does something wrong. Then you must change something. So like I said, Lake Bären always works. The question is only, what are the fish in the mood for? And if you are unsure with carp fishing, check out the full carp fishing playlist. That's a handful of videos, starting with Become a Carp Angler, then Practical Carp Fishing, and then more videos about waters, about Lake Bären, about Amber Lake, how to unlock a spot, how to test baits, and what influence different ground baits have. So as always, test, test, test. Off to Lake Bären, pull some carp. If it helped you, leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Tight lines.